Hi there, and welcome to Red Corner Boxing. You're with Jam and Mr. Neutral, and we have two special guests here. We've got Raho come from Punch Out Boxing, and we have got Håkan Johansson, all the way from Sweden, from Håkan's Ringside Live. We're here for the Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn prediction show. How are you fellas today?
Fabulous.
Mr. Neutral, how are you today, sir?
Me, I'm great, Jams. I'm just waiting for our guests to just settle in. Good to see you, Rag. Good to see you, Håkan. Welcome to Red Corner Boxing. And yeah, let's get into it. Right, who do we want to start with, Jams? Should we start with, let's see, Håkan. You know, Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn, the fight that nobody wanted until an egg was thrown. Tell me, you know, just exactly, you know, was your thoughts pre the egg and now post egg, and your, you know, prediction on this fight tonight?
Going back to the first fight when before the circus started in 2022, 8th October at the O2, and I was very excited for the fight back then in 2022. But I'm not that excited now that I was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, that I was then. I was looking forward to the fight in 2022 so much, but I missed out on tickets for the show at the O2. The tickets went in 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, and it was sold out.
I remember.
So I wanted to go to that one. And but in the end,
this one sold out as well, Håkan. This one sold out already.
I know.
Officially sold out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it's a big fight.
The poster you had there was the sold out poster for the first one, but it was sold out really quick for the Tottenham. For the Tottenham.
So has the egg incident not made it any more exciting for you?
It hasn't been more exciting for me because of the egg incident at the presser. But I think I know that it's a big fight for many fans. Still, tickets was pricey and sold out so quick. So not everyone see it as I see it, but it wouldn't have sold so good if people weren't interested in it. So,
do you think they're more interested in the names, though? The more interested in their father's names, the more interested in the sideshow than the actual boxing. Because if you look at the boxing resumes, it's not that great a fight, is it? Let's be truthful. We've got Eubank Jr., 34, 3-0. He's been stopped once by Beefy Smith, as we know. He's got 25 knockouts, but against questionable opposition. You've got Conor Benn, who's 23-0. If you want to ever see a padded record, just look at Conor Benn. Other than Peter Dobson, he beat a very aging Chris Algieri, very aging, and he beat Chris Van Heerden. I couldn't name you another decent one on his scalp. So, to be honest,
I agree with
this is a load of trash.
Yes, I agree with Conor Benn's opponents. Chris Eubank Jr. has been in a few big fights in his career. I have been. I was in Manchester when he lost to George Groves in 2018, I think it was. So he has been in a few big fights, but Conor Benn hasn't.
Yeah, he had the Billy Joe Saunders loss as well, which he should have won, but he took his foot off the gas for the first 6 rounds, thinking he'd cruise to victory and didn't quite pull it off. And then he obviously had 2 fights with Liam Beefy Smith. We know what happened there. He got knocked out in one. He ended up stopping Liam in the other. So, he's been in big fights.
I was lucky to be at the first one. So I've been lucky to watch Chris Eubank Jr. lost in 2 fights. So, so I've been interested in Chris Eubank Jr.'s career.
Yeah, this is for the IBO title as well, isn't it? So, the middleweight title, £160 IBO title.
So how do you see the fight going then, Håkan? Who's going to win?
I think the inactivity for Conor Benn will be significant for this fight. I think that if he had been had a fight before on a fairly high level, he maybe have I maybe had him not winning, but I had it more close if he hadn't been away from the ring so long time since his last fight, and his last 2-3 fights hasn't been impressive either.
He's moving up in weight too. He's moving up in the weight from 160. Do you think that'll make a difference, guys?
So my prediction is that Chris Eubank Jr. will take Chris Eubank Jr. will win the fight on a late stoppage.
Late stoppage, maybe championship rounds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Håkan, from Ringside Live. Ra, Håkan, welcome from Punch Out Boxing and also iBoxing Hub. You know, Ra, Eddie must have, you know, cried with disbelief and joy after Chris Eubank Jr. smashed an egg around Conor Benn's head that day at the presser. You know, he could have kissed him privately, I can imagine. You know, because before that, after the debacle in 2022, that this fight was, you know, not going to attract that much attention. You know, what did you make of all that kerfuffle? And then obviously your prediction, mate.
Listen, I must be becoming a boring old sod. I was never into this fight, you know, even, you know, when it was it 2022? So it's been 3 years. Even at that time, I was never that into it. You know me, I'm very much a purist first. I was thinking, look, Eubank, he's highly placed with the governing bodies, push for that world title shot. He did what, as you guys know, for me, the unforgivable crime. He actually rejected the opportunity to fight for a world title. So he actually asked the WBO, don't make me mandatory for Janibek, which means he had in mind all along that he just wanted like this big novelty fight, you know, big money fight. And listen, I don't begrudge fighters wanting those big money fights, but as a fan, another man's earnings ain't my business. I'm a fan of the sport. And so, yeah, after that, totally put off him. At one point, like Håkan said, at one point I was interested in Eubank's career. I think he had a bit of a run up until the loss to George Groves, where I thought, you know what, he's useful. You know, I didn't slate him for losing to George Groves. You know, that version of George Groves was still world level, and he had a couple of good wins, like against Yildirim, for example. He destroyed Yildirim probably more impressively than Canelo did, you know, a year later. So I think he was useful at one point, but he's gone way off track. He's since more recently turned down chances to fight Canelo, turned down a chance to fight Hamza Shiraz at Wembley. So it's like, yeah, he's looking for, I think he's got like 1 foot out the door, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As for Conor Benn, as you said, well, what's he done? He's also had the opportunity to push for those world title shots. You know, he's ranked number 3 for the WBC. If they were really about it, his promoter would be pushing for that world title shot. But again, he's just sort of moseying on along. They've both been hanging around, waiting for the circumstances where they could make this fight again. Do they both think it's a last cash out before they're well and truly exposed by the genuine world level guys? I somewhat suspect that's the case. And that's where we are. I'm so disinterested, even though Tottenham Hotspur is down the road from me. It's my local ground. I've actually asked my colleagues at Punch Out Boxing, you guys, can you go and cover it? I don't want to go to it. Yeah.
Proper
That's how-
disinterest, that, bro.
Listen, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it, but I ain't going to go to the effort of going through all the circus of the media events and what have you. In fact, I tried getting into the media event at Tottenham a couple of weeks back, and because I was 20 minutes late, they'd already locked the door, and several were left outside. And I just think, I mean, Mr. Newton, as you know, anyone in the industry mugs me off, they go on my hate list. So
yeah, that's it.
That's why you never return to Saudi, bro, isn't it?
You better believe it. Exactly that. So yeah, as for the fight itself, as I said, since that defeat to Groves, Eubank's just spiraled sort of into a decline. His last couple of fights, not impressive at all, really slowed down. I'm curious as to whether Conor saw something. Do you remember when he first mooted the idea on Twitter? He said, I fancy this at a catch weight. Did he see something, or had he heard something in the fight, the fight game circles that, Eubank he's got one foot out the door already. He's ready to cash out, because it's unusual for someone to be so vociferous in seeking a fight with someone 2 divisions up.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if that's why Conor's so sure of it.
Could that be in the Liam Williams fight?
Yeah, possibly.
Took the distance in February 21, was it?
Yeah, that was actually my first away as media. Yeah, I remember that. And of course, I think Williams' next fight, he got stopped by the first jab Hamza Shiraz landed. So maybe Conor saw something there. But then, look, Conor is far from convincing in his own weight class, let alone 1-2 weight classes above, which he's not fought at. I know they go on about how, he walks around at that weight. Top level athletes, when they're making weight and training towards a fight, they train in a particular way to peak that night. Now, at the highest level, I'm guessing they need a couple of goes at it to get it right. Yeah. That's what the whole purpose of, going through the levels is about. That if you get your weight making slightly wrong, your conditioning slightly wrong, well, at a lower level, it don't matter. But when you get to the very highest level, those fractional differences, they come into play. So that's a danger for Conor. He doesn't know how he performed on fight night at 160 pounds. Eubank does know. So it is in that sense,
£12 rehydration clause, raw as well, isn't there? £12 is the maximum. So Chris Eubank could come in at 172. So he's going to be a big boy compared to Conor Benn.
Exactly. But that 12-pound restriction, I think it's in there for a reason. And if it's coming to prediction time, I think that combined with the age, he's on the wrong side of 30, and at that age, making weight, all of that does have an effect. So I think, again, because Conor is so vociferous about wanting the fight, I think with all of them factors, I think they know it's sort of tilted in his favour. So I'm actually going to go for a Conor Benn stoppage. I think in 8 rounds, I think that weight making on Eubank will take a toll, and he'll get stopped on his feet.
Okay, thank you, Ra. Mr. Neutral,
Thank you,
do you
Ra.
want to go next, matey?
Yeah, I'll go next, Jams.
We've got to be quick, matey, because we've got another show coming up in 5
absolutely.
minutes. So
I'm not a fan of either. Wasn't a fan of this fight in 2022. I wasn't a fan of this fight in 2025. The egg, well, yeah, it made it exciting, but apart from all that, it is what it is. I'm going to go straight to the prediction now. And rather much like what you were saying there, I think there's a guy that's in his mid-30s is, maybe he's not into it anymore. As you said, his lots of fights he turned down, blah, all the rest of that. And then you got a guy coming up, Conor Benn, frustrated his last 2 years with being held back his career, this drug business, whether it's his fault or not. There's a decline factor or a non-progressive factor within that, but he is hungry. He is, he's got stamina. He's got energy. He could well bring a swarming sort of style to Chris Eubank that he's not trained for. He won't be ready, but experience says, my heart says, I want Chris to win it, but my head says I think Conor Benn is going to be too strong. And I think he's going to be stoppage championship rounds as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Neutral. Well, I'm going to make this one short and sweet. I think Chris Eubank Jr., although he's not fought at the highest level, is still a far more accomplished boxer than Conor Benn. I think he's going to keep him on that jab. I think Conor Benn's going to come out like a bull in a china shop, try and take him out, and that's going to count against him. He's going to get caught over and over again. And by the 6th or 7th, I think he's going to be absolutely gassed out. And I think Eubank takes a wide UD. So that's my prediction on that one, guys. And I tell you what, that will wrap it up because we're going back for Canelo against William Skull in a moment. So thank you to our guest, Ra Hokum of Punch Out Boxing, Håkan Johansson of Håkan's Ringside Live. Me and Mr. Neutral will see you guys soon. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. We'll see you next time.